I waited until just the right time before closing to go thank her and return the plate. Evening.
こんばんは。
Good, you're still here. I was thinking of going and calling you upstairs if you weren't.
ゆうくんが来るかと思って、今日は残業。
こらこら、時間ないだろう。
Thanks for this. It was delicious.
よかった。
まったく俺は感心しないね。
Not again. What? Why not?
和菓子屋のオーブン使ってスポンジケーキだなんてさ。とか言って頑固親父みたいなことを言ってみたくなるわけだが、まあ俺がケーキとか好きじゃないだけなんだけどね。
せっかくの設備は有効活用しないと。
普段から使ってるっての。しかしさっきは参ったよ。混み合った店内に時ならぬケーキの匂い。
Maybe the regulars will switch to the cake side.
それは参るな。
これからはゆうくんが実験台になってくれるんだって。
It's just taste testing. Don't call them experiments. That makes them sound very, very different. Like, oh, I'm experimenting with a new ingredient. Rat poison.
本当にいいのかい？ユーナはショートケーキならなんとか作れるようになったようだけど。
It's this new ingredient. It's a fancy new ingredient. Rat poison. Huh? What do you mean?
まあ大丈夫でしょ。とりあえずは甘いわけだし。
それだけか。
Well, I'm fine with it. If I had to choose, I would choose Western sweets.
ほらほら。
I mean, there is more variety than fucking wagashi. And in the next sentence, I just said to myself, I'm just happy to eat whatever you make, Yu-chan.
ま、太らせない程度にな。洋菓子はカロリー高いんだから。
She murmured with realization as she inspected her body from head to toe.
じゃあ、生クリームの代わりに脱脂乳使おうか?
That's definitely one way to cut back on the fat. That wouldn't be proper cake, would it? Correct. 5:17. A week passed since then. I wouldn't let another day pass without telling her. I didn't call her up to the window, but rather to the park. I told her I had something to talk about, so this time I couldn't let myself start some random conversation. I had to seal away all other options. I took deep breaths and slapped my face a few times. I reached out to ring the doorbell, but looked up at the house in front of me first. Looked up at the house in front of me first. It was my first time feeling nervous, looking up at my childhood friend's all too familiar house. No, wait, maybe it wasn't. The first time was when I heard her mother had died. This isn't the time to remember that. Just push the button. My index finger grazed the doorbell, and at that moment... Did I just hear something? Did I just hear shouting? I put my hand down and listened carefully. Where's that coming from? Wait, was it coming from inside? I stood in shock, looking at the house I never thought could give birth to such a heated argument between a cheery father and his daughter. It was also hard to believe that Yu-chan was capable of screaming like that. Slam. The door swung open and someone burst out of the house. Yu-chan. She looked at me with surprise for a brief moment, but then ran off with an angry sneer on her face.
こら言うな
Shirahase,
おう、ゆうくんか。
he took a few hasty steps before giving up and slumping his shoulders. I was speechless. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. He's crying. What's the matter? What? I waited a few moments, then asked him,
俺はやっぱり娘の育て方を間違えたのかもしれないよ。
I was mainly preoccupied with Yuchan, but I wanted to know the situation. We entered the closed shop and sat down at a table to talk. So, what the heck happened? It was really shocking. His face was pale, and his eyes were wide and puffy in contrast.
これだよ。
With a barely audible croak, he handed me an A4-sized envelope he had in his hand.
差出人を見てくれ。
It was folded and crumpled, so I opened it up to see the address. I mumbled, slack-jawed. AKG 128 Management Office. Audition and Scouting Division. What is this?
中を見て驚いたよ。そっとするかと思った。書面審査に合格した旨の通知なんだ。
He wasn't saying anything particularly odd, but I somehow couldn't comprehend it. A warm current seemed to surge through my brain, something different than blood. Oh, so this means that Yu-chan's gonna do an audition?
そうだよ。
I guess she has a reason to put on makeup now. He slammed his fist on the table as he spoke. I couldn't believe it myself either. I put the crumpled envelope back on the table. There was undeniable evidence right before me. But Yu-chan being an idol? No way. He nodded with a raspy sigh. Now I remember. Shibuya had jokingly told her about this. She had said Yu-chan would make an amazing idol or something. Indeed, that was easy to imagine at a glance. But it takes a certain type of person. Oh, bonus audition. I took the envelope again. Took the envelope again, and it said it was regarding the bonus auditions. I remember hearing about this.
臨時のオーディションよ。臨時のオーディション？
Yeah, could you just bonus auditions too?
初めての試み。今まではずっと年一で。だからネットじゃ結構騒ぎになってるみたい。
No, never mind.
まさかだよ。
He put his head down on the table.
まさか言うなが、俺の一人娘がアイドルなんぞになりたがるなんて。
I mean, kind of spitting though.
やっぱりダメなのかね。父親一人、娘一人の生活じゃ。
He was getting choked up. I wanted to tell him he was overreacting, but he seemed dead serious. But an idol is a good job to have. I tried to sound comforting, saying something even I knew was nonsense. He composed himself, and the anger was back in his voice.
いや、どうだろうね。だいたいテレビ芸能界なんて服までみたいなものじゃないか。気の強い女ならそりゃ望むところかもしれない。けどあの子じゃ。
Oops. head like a stretched rubber band returning back to its position. His voice succumbed to despair.
ダメだよ。絶対に向かない。そんなのはあの子の生き方じゃないはずだ。
Okay, well, that's not why I'm saying he's bitten, but kind of also true, but also no. The reason why there's a reason why her being an idol is a problem is, well, one, good luck dating her. Two, if she ever gets popular, you know, there's a lot of issues there when it comes to quote-unquote fans, also known as stalkers. They are not fans, you know. And then there's a lot of fucking infighting, and like it's very glorified industry. On you know, it's a very glorified. The idol industry is very much glorified as this kind of dream that girls should aspire to achieve. But like, obviously, most of them aren't gonna succeed because they're either not hot enough, or they can't sing, or they can't dance, or they're not hot enough, or they're not hot enough, or they're not cute enough. I nodded subtly to myself.
俺はあいつには必ず幸せになってもらいたいんだがな。
Happy. He had said that before as well. But I also desired the same for her. And I tensed up and leapt in surprise as he broke out into sudden crazed laughter. Shirahase?
いや、ついその気になってしまったが、まだ決まったわけじゃなかったんだな。
Huh?
これだよ。
He pulled out the contents of the envelope, spread it out, and pointed to the title. Notice of initial evaluation completion. Here's what it said. I saw that before as well.
まだ本決まりじゃないんだから、何も泣くことはなかった。
His eyes were still tinged with despair. His laughter hardly sounded genuine. But either way, yeah, he's in denial now. If Yu-chan's dead set about it, she'll pass with flying colors. Without bothering to sit back down, I stood all the way up. Alright, let me talk to her.
ああ、頼む。
He pleadingly grabbed my hand with both of his.
頼むよ。
Yeah. I texted her and she said she was at the park. I headed over there. I saw her silhouette under a streetlight. Yu-chan. I yelled out to her and ran over to her side. It was definitely loud enough for her to hear me, but she sat huddled down, immobile. This park was usually full of families in the day, but at this time, not even couples loitered around. Yu-chan. I stood right next to her and spoke firmly. I sat down next to her. It was easier to talk like this rather than standing over her. What the heck's the matter? You freaked me out. We sat alone, shoulder to shoulder, and it would have been wonderful as a date. But that vibe wasn't present. Yu-chan just stared grimly at her own feet, not looking at me at all.
ひどいんだよ、お父さんたら。人の郵送物勝手に開けるなんて信じられない。
True.
ねえ、ひどいよね。
I nodded. But he doesn't make a habit out of it, right? He probably saw the sender and got suspicious, is all.
そんなの理由にならないもん。
So, Yu-chan, are you serious about it?
本気ではないよ。
That caught me off guard. So I gave her a half-hearted response. She finally smiled, looked up into my eyes.
だって私なんかがアイドルになれると思う？
I mean, not really, no, but there's gotta be a reason why you did it. No, I don't.
ああ、ひどい。
You're not the type. I mean, you look the part. You'd fit right in.
そうかな。そんなことはないと思うけど。
But here's the thing, right? She's already an idol. Not in the same not in the same sense, but she is the cafe's idol. Like, you know. No, I'm serious here.
自分では思わないけど、でもゆうくんにそう言ってもらえるのはなんか嬉しいかな。
Look, I'm just gonna say this. I never thought the visual novel was gonna go down the Yuna becoming an idol route, because it would completely go against the whole point of these routes, which is marriage. Marrying an idol is next to impossible when it comes to marrying an idol is next to impossible, because it would ruin their reputation. But what do you mean you're not serious? You sent the documents, right?
うん。記念だよ、記念。
Commemorate.
だって AKG とか今のうちじゃないと応募できないと思うし。
You mean your age?
そう。それで臨時でオーディションとかしてるし、これは送ってみるのもいいかななんて。だってほら、来年は受験もあることだし、次はさすがにそんなことしてられないし。
I see.
だからこれはあくまで記念だから。万が一だけどね。合格したとしても辞退するから。
I mean, it would be a fun experience. Like a commemoration. This was a weird conversation, but like she said, this was her last chance to try something like this out on a whim. But it never seemed like you were interested, you know? Like when Shibuyan mentioned it, you seemed indifferent.
ああ、けど意外に乗せられちゃったというか。
Really? It's all the makeup. The makeup's been brainwashing her into wanting her to join AKG.
ほんとほんと。
That sounds like a fib. Like such a fib. But since she insisted, I decided not to prod anymore. Anyway, the most important thing here was... Okay, so since the audition is just for the memories, then you don't need to consider what happens after, right?
うん。それは全然ないから。
Okay. I breathed a sigh of relief. Good then.
いいの？
Well, yeah, I was worried. Like your dad, I don't think it's right for you. And the world of celebrities is probably crazy.
怖いの？
Crazy is an understatement. Well, I can't say for sure, but your dad was saying it'd be pandemonium. What does pandemonium mean, anyway?
さあ。
Pandemonium? Also, probably an understatement. We both tilted our heads and thought. Then she laughed heartedly.
受かるとも限らないのに。それどころか、落ちる確率の方がずっと高いのに。二人とも心配性。
I laughed and didn't bother refuting that. But honestly, though, she was a little she was a little delusional about her potential. That sounds like she wouldn't have succeeded. I mean, yeah, she is delusional. Here's the thing, right? The problem is, it's still being used in the negative as a negative thing, but the it's like, it's, how do I explain this? Because if without any context, calling her delusional for wanting to audition for an idol group would be like, you wouldn't make it, right? Like you wouldn't qualify for being an idol. But the problem is, she does qualify for it. The delusional part is not referring to if she has the qualifications to join the group. It's her delusions of being insecure about her appearance. I guess it's about her true self, about her potential. I mean, if she entered, she was passing. You should have told him all of that too.
だって、説明も聞かないうちに大きな声出すんだもん。
He also opened up her mail before, without permission. Oh, I see.
勝手に封筒開けたくせにね。私、お父さんが謝るまで許してあげない？
The usual mellow Yu-chan was seriously peeved. Why didn't I tell him for you?
いいよ、そんなの。
But he was crying.
なんで泣くの？
Yeah, he was worried sick. What followed were his own insecurities about how he raised her, but I omitted that part.
うん。じゃあお願い。ゆうくんから言っておいて。
Sure. Once she heard her dad cried, she immediately threw aside her figurative sword. She was such a kind girl deep down, so I knew her anger would waver like a candle in a storm. Well, at least for now, I could breathe easy. I can breathe easy. I relaxed and leaned back on the park bench.
なんかさっき、ゆうくんが来たとき、昔思い出しちゃった。
The past?
あの時は、ブランコがある方だったけど。
Yeah. Just hearing that, I knew exactly the memory she was referring to. That was right after her mother had passed away. Of course, I couldn't recall how conscious I was of the dire straits she was in at the time. But I do remember wanting to stay by her side. I focused on nothing else, and stuck with her as much as I could. So you were here? Yu-chan was always in the corner of Clock Tower Park. Yeah, in the designated area for little kids. It was cold in the year. I remember it being almost cold enough to make the swing set's chain stick to my hands. Come on, cheer up, Yu-chan. As long as you repeated something, kids would eventually understand whether they liked it or not. Although that did little to actually cheer her up. I stood by her side, staring absent-mindedly up at the sky. Why did she have to die? Why? Why? The mantra played incessantly in my mind. My head swirled with questions. Despite how young I was, I think it was the first time I was conscious of unfairness. Why did her mom have to die? So people, they really die. At least just one more time. I wanted her to see her again.
あの時ゆうくん。なんでもない。
She laughed bashfully, and I just nodded, not venturing any more questions. Maybe we should go. Maybe we should go. Maybe we should go. We stood up from the bench and I gasped.
どうしたの？
Oh, no, I was planning on coming here for the first time with Yu-chan, of course. First place. Coming here in the first place with Yu-chan. But now it's not a good time to tell her.
あ、もしかしてこのベンチ、ペンキ塗りたてだった？
Give me a break. Right. A little while ago, you went to the photo place by the station, right?
ああ、うん。
I was wondering why you were getting your picture taken, but that was for the application, right?
うん。実は、
Oh, you went all out.
でも、駅前に置いてある写真機で撮るのも、なんか変かなって気がしたし。
Well, I can see that. Your face always looks weird in those photo booths.
そうそう。やっぱりすごいんだよ、プロの腕は。
It's called lighting. And also a better camera, but it's also lighting. For real?
なんかね、これ本当に私みたいな。よく似た別人が映り込んでないとか。
It's not a supernatural Photoshop. You just look that good is all.
そんなことないです。
She playfully bumped her shoulder into mine. What? No, you do. I bumped her back. It was kind of fun, like a harmless argument over something so silly.
そうだ。このことはみんなには黙っていて。
Yeah, no problem.
やっぱり恥ずかしいからね。特にめぐみには絶対に冷やかされると思うし。
Her face got red just imagining that. Seeing her blush so easily just reinforced the fact that she would never last in the idol world.
あ、
Her dad stood pacing in front of the house, obviously still on edge. He noticed us, then stood with his arms crossed and feet planted wide. Yu-chan snubbed him as she passed by and made her way into the house.
ほら、なんか言うことはないのか？
ピ
まったく。
He shook his head in tired anger, and then turned back to me.
どうだった？
It seems like you didn't have to worry so much.
記念ね。
I explained to him what she had said, but I'm just thinking of the fucking Fall Out Boy song now. She stumbled across Fall Out Boys on YouTube, and she listened to Thanks for the Memories and was like, yeah, maybe I should. You know what? He's spitting. Let me join in the idol group for the fun of it. I explained to him what she had said, but he didn't quite get it.
よくわからんな。まあ、年頃の娘の考えることなんてよくわからんわけだが。
He shook his head and heaved yet another heavy sigh. Either way, it doesn't sound like there's an issue, so you guys should hurry and make up.
ああ。
If she's too peeved, she might stop helping you at the shop. I mean, That's a good way of explaining it. He laughed meekly, then murmured like he had come to terms with it.
ありがとな、ゆうくん。
Not at all.
実際、ゆうくんがいなかったらどうなっていたことか。今回に限った話じゃないけどな。
Well, we're childhood friends. He patted me on the shoulder and trudged into the house. Childhood friends, huh? I started thinking about the weight of those words again while I sat in the dark. Because she was my childhood friend. That's why I was so intent on helping, I think. I couldn't say for sure whether I already had a crush on her back then. It's quite the mystery. We're just neighbors at the end of the day. But in my heart, I know it goes well beyond that. For me, even before I liked her, she's always been special. I went to my window. Her room was dark, but I wished I could see her. I then realized I actually could see inside, so I hastily hurried away. Yeah, you don't want to see anything unsightly. 5:18. The next morning, Yu-chan had reverted to her usual cheery self. Did you guys make up?
謝ったから許してあげた。
Okay, that's good to hear.
ほら、どうかしたの？
Don't worry about it.
ちょっと親子喧嘩。
That's rare for them.
へえ、私なんてしょっちゅうだわ。
That makes sense.
まあ、これはお嬢様の悪い影響が。何言ってるのよ。まあ、たまにはね。
Yu-chan was reserved and a really good person, so she rarely lashed out. That implies that Lucy isn't a good person. That's why I was awestruck last night.
たまにと言わず、しょっちゅうぶつかった方がいいわよ。かえって分かり合えるんじゃないかしらね。でも特にぶつかる点があるわけでもないから。お嬢様にはむしろ衝突しない生き方を模索していただきとう存じまする。うるさいわよ、そこのコウモリ。
I went to the arcade with my friends when school was out, and in the evening I popped into the honeydew.
いらっしゃいませ。
Hello. It was kind of a strange time for it to be this crowded. I took an empty seat at the counter.
こんにちは。今日はちょっとサービスしようか。
Not from you. Huh? No, I don't need that. He raised both hands and wiggled his fingers.
こののぶとい指で肩もみとかな。
Don't call them that. No, I'll have to, with every fiber of my being, politely decline. I had an oily burger for lunch, so I went with a light dessert. Kuzusakura.
はいよ、お待ちどうさま。
It was way more than usual. An exceptional amount. Wait, you do... An exponential amount. You do... What? What a word to use. He shot me an obvious wink and slightly inclined I slightly inclined my head. Or you gave him a nod. What? Maybe he was appreciative of what I did last night. I felt pretty good about that. I lazily sipped some tea after I finished, and the customers were finally clear. Good. It seems like Yu-chan's in a better mood.
いやー、 店を人質に取られちゃあね。こっちとしても下手に出ざるを得ないよ。
Hostage.
お父さんたら人聞き悪い？
It would have been.
謝らない限りはバイトに出ないとか言われてね。それとこれとは関係ないと思うんだがね。
It sounded like that was just Yu-chan's clever way to hurry up and resolve the issue. It definitely wasn't her desire to prolong the fight. I mean, they only have each other left.
人質っていうか、バイトするもしないも自由だと思うけどな。職業選択の自由があるんだから。
Yeah, say what you want, but you depend on Yu-chan.
いやいや、今パートの鈴木さんが足の怪我でお休み中だからさ、それでってことだよ。
Now that he mentioned it, I hadn't seen her around, but that wasn't the only reason he depended on her.
そういえば、ゆうくんに一つお願いがあったんだが。
What's that?
25日だっけ？
He checked with Yu-chan.
オーディションがその日にあるっていうから、ついてやってくれないかな。
Yeah, that'd be fine.
お願い。一人だとなんだか不安で。
No problem.
不安なくらいなら行かなきゃいいのに。
もうその話は終わったでしょ？
はいはい。
Where's the audition?
荒らぎサンプラザ多目的大ホールっていうところ。
Oh, that building has an event hall?
ただ何時に終わるかわからないんだけど、時間は17時から20時ってなっていて。
I'll hang around until you're done.
ありがとう。
She looked nervous talking about it at first, but she beamed hearing that.
やっぱりゆうくんは優しいね。ゆうなみたいなのんびりしたやつにはきっと優しい男子が似合ってるんだろうな。うん。
What? No, I...
何言ってるんだろうね、この人。
でもそうだろう。
He added more onto that with a kind of look in his eyes.
昔から悠々コンビなんて言っていたが、同い年の割には俺にはちょっとばかしゆうくんの方がお兄さんに見えたがね。
Probably shouldn't say that.
ほら、誕生日が3ヶ月ほど早いし。
まあ、そういうことにしておこう。
Is this their way of involving a semi-incestual relationship? Because he doesn't have a sister, so and he doesn't have any other non-blood related family members that are of similar age to him and are also a girl. So the closest is Yuna. Her cheeks turned crimson. It was kind of cute.
いらっしゃいませ。
Relieved, she broke away from us and headed over to the entrance. She did have some more timid qualities that made her like a little sister. And I didn't mind her looking up to me, or depending on me at all. But probably turned that little sister to a wife. Wait, what am I... Change... What... Not literal. Well, obviously not. The whole thinking of her as a sister is a metaphor. Is that also because we're childhood friends? No, that's not it. I finished up my tea and stood up. Okay, I'm heading home then. Thank you.
Hey yo, my daddy.
I paid right there and headed for the door.
は
Her voice was louder than usual, maybe to mask her bashfulness. 5:21. On Monday, right off the bat, people were talking about the auditions. Damn it. I guess we don't really care about the auditions. Hey, if the results came in, right? So the results came in, right? Did you pass? I wonder. Oh, come on, spill the beans. I bet you didn't pass. but you obviously didn't. But you obviously didn't either. That photographer at the photo place sucks. They went to the same photographer. Totally. I thought they were at each other's throats, but they were on the exact same page. I remember, like you could send 100 pictures to no avail. Hey, keep your voice down. They'll hear. You should roll a knife when you take a picture. Then you'll be more of a namahage. Dang, they heard me laugh, and were actually glaring now. I was shaking in my boots. But is it that hard to pass the first evaluation? Well, yeah, duh. How many applicants do you think they have to sift through? In that case, just passing that was already a huge deal. I looked over and saw Yuchan chatting casually with Shibuyan. Ah, Shirahase, huh? Yep. She could join AKG if she wanted. I tried to just glance over, but he saw me. He was kind of sharp. And not just join. She could be the center girl, I bet. Center? What do you mean? Just what it means. She's in the middle of the group. Oh, sheesh. You don't know. You didn't even know that. Are you a Japanese man? I mean, he does prefer Western sweets. He made a dumb face as he teased me. Well, I just don't care. All right then. I'll have to give you a crash course during lunch. No thanks. I'm good. No, don't bother. Don't be shy. Get off me. What? I was gonna say, at least it's better than Ando, and then a fucking course. Why are you holding him like that? What? That was kind of that was quite the shriek. And then at lunch, despite being vocal about not caring, I got dragged along to the AKG session. Well, it had been all the rage in the classroom, so I had to admit I was slightly curious. And that's it. The original creator, Uwa-chan, left the group and now it's Mayo. I somehow couldn't put a face to either of those names. But I'm all for Yu-chan personally. Huh? Who? Wait. Yeah. Come on. Yugo Kojima. Oh. You mean Yeah, I know a Kojima. The director of the Metal Gear Solid games. Oh. I brought 100 CDs before, you know? Wait, what? What? Why? 100 gets you a handshake pass, right? A handshake pass. Yep, speaks for itself. I wasn't sure, but I guessed if you bought a ton of CDs, you had a chance to shake her hand. Oh, right. I vaguely remember now. The concept they use is something like up close with the idol, right? Right. It's tough recently to actually see them. They treat us like dorks as of late. Who knew they'd get this big? No shit, dude. Yeah, Yeah, I had that Greasefield producer, but he's got the magic touch. You get the magic touch. Why do you hate him? Well, he mumbled off incoherently. He's got another magic touch, or so the rumors say. Huh? You could say the members of the AKG are being touched. Seriously? Just to be clear, I mean sexually. You didn't need to clarify. I could infer from the first time you mentioned it. Yeah, I got that. Whoa. He could have flopped his head downward in despair. Some of his hair even got into his ramen. If you just got touched by him, I just... What do you expect with idols? It was way more shocking when I found out the Arrogate heroine wasn't a virgin. Unlucky. Well, both of them really. I knew nothing about any of them, so I couldn't have cared less with which of the members did what. But it's just a rumor, right? I think you should be more concerned considering the fact that most idols are underage. Look, I understand that it's a meme that Yuna is fucking 18 because of the warning label, but like it was very obvious why she wanted to do this now and not in the future, because she'd be too old. Well, yeah, but it's like a smell you can't shake. It's like idols join at a very young age, and then when they retire, they're still at a very young age. But at least they're adults. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So, But what was the deal with bonus auditions in the first? It's the first time, right? Indeed. I actually have a hypothesis about it. A hypothesis? You can't call information on 4chan a hypothesis. No. The West uses 4chan. The Japan uses 2chan. And 8chan. I don't remember which one was the more depraved one. Wrong. I came up with it myself. Okay. Greasefields came to the city at the end of March, right? He turned to me as he asked, huh? He did? How should I know? You saw him with me in front of the station. Oh, right. Yeah, this was before he met with all the girls. I'd completely forgotten. I seem to have recalled when he mentioned it, though. And some beautiful transfer students had just come prior to that, right? So what's your point? I wonder if that greaseball saw them in town. You hardly ever see such cute girls wandering around. And then he holds the bonus auditions. And how about that for a hypothesis, eh? Eh? I mean, very likely. It's bold. He sounded quite sure of himself. I, of course, thought it was ridiculous. No, he's got a point. He's spinning. He's cooking.
Yu-kun!
She skipped over and plopped cutely right beside me. Yu-chan.
なんか嬉しいね。こうしてたまたま一緒になるのって。
We see each other almost every day.
そうだけど、でも珍しいよね。
Yeah, I guess. Usually after class, I hung around with my friends. And since Yuna had to return to the cafe, we usually didn't meet up after school very often.
クラスは毎年のように一緒だったけど。
Yes, you're gonna be in the same class next year as well. That's probably why it's rare.
そうだね。
Forever since elementary school, huh? The odds of that were spectacular.
クラス替えの神様も悠々コンビは永遠だって応援してくれてるんだろうね、きっと。
Yeah, quick little jokes made me so happy. I want to stay with her forever.
くんも今日はお家に直行なんだ。
Yeah, I need to finish some homework I've been putting off. He nodded.
家がお隣さんでも下校の時は本当一緒にならないよね。前からだけど。
In elementary school, we always ran off to play with our friends. But afterwards, why didn't we? Maybe I was just shy. I looked at her and mumbled it out loud.
Huh?
I mean, going home together. She tilted her head in confusion, like she had never felt the same way. But I honestly yearned for that. Going to school was easy. We could use the excuse that we lived next to each other. An excuse. Right. I was always concerned with my friend's opinion of me. And not now, of course.
変かな。だって家がお隣さんなのに。
I don't think there's anything weird about it. I mean, yeah, we're childhood friends.
Huh?
I just felt a peculiar familiarity, different from usual friends, so...
かもね。
Yu-chan seemed to have thought about something that brought a big smile to her face. That might also have been the reason her talks at the window stopped. The china stymied any further discussion. I don't know how else to pronounce that word. But we had overcome that obstacle. Here we were walking shoulder to shoulder. That might be because my feelings have evolved, or I had matured. So everyone was basically talking about the auditions today, huh?
ああ、うん。涼しい顔しているの。なんか疲れちゃった。
She pressed her hands against her cheeks. Did anyone find out?
うん。めぐみも全然そんなことは思ってもいないみたい。
I nodded. That made sense. The closer people got to Yu-chan, the more they realized how unlikely it was for her to do something like that. Oh, but if anyone from our school got chosen, then you might see them there.
ああ、それなんだけど、なんかめぐみがいろいろ聞いて回ったそうなんだけど。
Every other girl in the class failed. And according to her, not a single girl from our school passed the evaluation. Whoa. If anyone did, they would definitely be yelling it from the rooftop. So it must have been true.
だから会場では知っている人がいないんだよね。やっぱり不安。
Didn't you want to keep it a secret though?
そうだけどね。
Well, I'm with you at least. Was I being too friendly, despite being her childhood friend? I thought to myself as I patted her shoulder. But that's really something. I bet a lot of people at our school applied. I just tried to praise her casually, but she had a troubled look on her face.
やっぱりあの写真館の人がすごかったのかな。
I don't know. I felt like I heard some other people talking about the same photographer too. You're really modest, you know. Almost to a fault. Her dad was concerned about that too. Her lack of confidence in herself. Like I said, motherless behavior. And they say modesty is a virtue, but too much can lead to one's downfall. At least, that's what I thought.
なんかね、私、ダメなんだよね。
Huh? No good. Yuna pursed her lips as she frowned, and didn't say another word. Once back near my house, I entered the honeydew, as was routine at this point. After taking a few minutes to change, Yu-chan showed up. I got some chestnut kanoko and sat spacing out, thinking about what just happened. No good, huh? What the heck does she mean? I had absolutely no idea. It was also crowded today, so we couldn't talk. I just messed around on my phone. Oh, right. Near Aragi Station. I searched and instantly found it. I had never been there, but there was a nice park near the station. It had a lookout point, and apparently the view was epic. Don't use the word epic ever again. It was probably a lot better than Clock Tower Park. Yeah, this is perfect. Let's go here. I'll take her there on the way back and then... 5:25. Then the day of the audition came. We left at 4 p.m. to give us a little buffer. I went outside and saw Yu-chan already waiting. I could see she was tense. Oh wait, I thought... Why did I get the dates wrong? I thought the audition was on the 20th.
こんにちは。なんか足元がそわそわするよ。
She bounced back and forth on either foot. We're not going jogging, you know.
そうだけど。えほ。
Hey, no running either.
あははは。
Hey, the outcome doesn't matter, right? Just take it easy. She nodded, but she grimaced at the same time, all the same. Her dad came out, as if he had been waiting for my arrival.
言うな。気をつけるんだぞ。
He had his usual stern look. Huh? Of what?
いや、まあ、いろいろと。
No, he has every right to be worried. I knew he was just being paranoid.
ゆうくんも頼んだよ。本当、一人だったらとても行かせられないところだよ。
I will. He waved us off, and we started for the station. He's been standing there watching us go for a while. Is the shop okay without him? I'm sure it's fine. I couldn't believe how worried he was, considering she didn't care about passing this. It was believable, considering how he misunderstood at first. Yu-chan was taking huge breaths as she was walking. Are you really that nervous?
血は筋肉踊るって感じだよ。
Isn't that excitement then?
緊張のあまり言い間違い。
Yeah, right. But I could tell her face was much paler than usual.
ゆうくんの言う通り、別にどっちだって構わない話なのにね。でも、人の前に立つと思うと、それだけで。それに、有名なプロデューサーさんも来るらしいし。
Greasefields.
あ、そんな人。
Oh. He was a big shot, apparently. Yet, he who was coming all the way out to the small town. And some beautiful transfer students had just come prior to that, right? I wonder if that greaseball saw them in town. You hardly ever see such cute girls wandering around. No way.
なんか膝まで笑ってきちゃった。
Yes, way.
ねえねえゆうくん、緊張が解けるおまじないとかない？
Tricks, huh? She turned to me with an unexpected serious look. Huh? I don't particularly care, but are you wearing makeup? I could tell today since the sun was so bright. Cool.
だってほら、一応は人の前に立つわけですし。
I tried to compliment her, but she made it sound like an excuse. Okay, let's go.
おまじないは
I don't have one. With going to the photo place and everything, you're really going the extra mile. She looked a little ashamed and nodded as she twirled her finger in her hair.
進路を変えるつもりは全然なかったとしても、これはやっぱり記念だから。
But you'd rather pass the audition than fail, right?
そういうこと。プロの人の目から見て合格できるようであれば、私も自分に自信が持てるようになると思うし。
That was a major personal reason. I was thinking the same thing the other day, but I didn't say it to her. But in my opinion, I don't think it really matters. That's cause, regardless of what some stranger says about you, you're still you, Yu-chan.
ありがとう。今のでかなり効いた。
Worked?
緊張が抜けるおまじない。
Oh, well, I wasn't even trying to, but if it did, then good. Yu-chan nodded happily. Her expression was way more relaxed compared to before.